I get the motivation to do these things for like a few days at a time, and they come in bursts, and then I like super excited, make a bunch of videos, record a bunch of footage, and then I only end up like using like a very small percentage of it. Like I've got like a ton of footage in the archive that will never see the light of day. Maybe it's just the discipline part and the consistency that I'm not good at. But I'm hoping it comes back very soon because I'm at a crossroads here. And I have not given up on the dream. And I never will. But we are at a very pivotal point in the journey. So, to illustrate what I mean, I'm going to go ahead and check my weight this morning. And then I will update you guys a little bit as to where I've been and what's been going on. Playing with some new toys here. What's going on, everybody? As you can see, I've showered and put some clothes on. 284 on the dot, which is the heaviest I've ever weighed on the channel. I'm not too sure if I've ever been in the 80s on the channel before. But what I can tell you, I'll take these off because I'm afraid of the reflection. What I can tell you is that I've been in the 80s for a while now, and it's the heaviest I've ever been. Where do I even start? Let's take it back to fall 2020, in which I ran the Jeff Nippard Powerbuilding program. And that was kind of the last time I would say that I actually trained super with intent, essentially. Even through my powerlifting meet prep series, I was definitely half-assing a lot of the stuff, going through the motions. And despite that, I was still able to hit all-time PRs. And in the subsequent year through 2020, again, just mostly going through the motions, honestly not training that hard, definitely not really with intent. And again, was still able to crush a bench PR, hitting 350 for the first time. But I had noticed over the years, especially since having to abruptly stop the Jeff Nippard Powerbuilding program back in 2020, just the passion had gone. There was something that was missing. I made a couple of small videos about how I just felt like wasn't myself. I had lost the drive, I'd lost the fire, and everything was just kind of not enjoyable for me anymore. And it all came to a head this year, I would say, during the summertime. For starters, I got my degree, but the thing was, when I was graduating, I felt a sense of not pride, not satisfaction, but more just kind of, I don't know, blah, I guess you could say. I was very just whatever about the whole situation. Didn't really feel like it was worth celebrating, considering my age and how long it took to get this degree. And it was a degree that it was in exercise sports science. And while I do love exercise sports science, just a general lack of drive in my training over the years and my subsequent weight gain has left me in a place of sort of, I guess, disillusionment. I don't know if you'd call it that, but I definitely feel like I don't really want to pursue this as a career necessarily. Especially being a trainer. Didn't really want to do that. And it was kind of like the first logical step. So, coming to terms with that reality and really feeling like my entire college experience hadn't mirrored my training experience, where I was fired up in the beginning. There was a period of time where I was pouring my heart and soul into it, really doing it with purpose and with intent. And then over the last couple of years, it had just kind of felt like I was going through the motions, wasn't training as hard as I should have been, wasn't studying as hard as I should have been. And as a result, I don't know how much I really learned. Of course, the training results are a separate issue. So that happened, right? I graduated, I have the degree. So should have been a moment of pride and maybe even relief and satisfaction, but was ended up being more of just kind of like a hollow moment where I was just thinking, I don't really deserve a lot of the praise, and I really just kind of want this to be over. Fast forward a month, we're at 4th of July, which is a holiday in the United States. I get injured. I get injured on my back. This is the third time that this same injury has cropped up. This injury is still affecting me right now. It's a sciatic injury. The first time I got it was doing goblet squats. The second time I got it was during a warm-up set on back squats. And this time I got it during hack squats, in which I was pushing way too hard, hitting hack squat PRs out of nowhere and with really no prep for it. Hack squatting is not an exercise I do very often, and I was pushing it really hard because I had felt like I had been slacking in my lower body training especially. And as a result, I pushed too hard and compressed the disc that hit that sciatic nerve that caused me a lot of pain and discomfort, and pretty much made leg training and even some back training kind of out of the cards. Could not do it, which has been very devastating to me because I am under the impression that I will not hit a bench PR for a long time, and having no lower body training, in which I think has been massively, I've been underperforming in my lower body, and I feel like I could have done more. And to have to take a step back on something that has more room to grow during this period, and I don't feel like I've been pushing hard enough on, is really, really, like, it's hurting me, like, internally. I haven't hit a squat PR since my meet in 2021 of December, and I haven't hit a deadlift PR since, I mean, in a technical sense, since summer of 2021. So it's been 2 years since I hit a deadlift PR, because I hit 405 in the gym, and then I hit 407 in competition, which is just essentially just 405. And since then, I have missed 430 several times. I have missed 420 once. And in general, my deadlift has just been ass, just not going anywhere whatsoever. The final thing is obviously the weight gain. The weight gain has been steadily increasing since my lowest of the low in summer of 2019, where I hit 207 pounds. That was from 275, so I had lost almost 70 pounds. And ever since then, I have been slowly gaining it back to where now I'm actually 10 pounds over the start weight when I started the weight loss journey, all the way back in 2017, essentially. And it has been the most depressing thing ever. I am truly, truly disheartened. And it's been killing me as a man, for sure, for this whole time. And not only that, but I have been experiencing a lot of symptoms and just a general feeling, especially in the gym, because my conditioning and my work capacity is so bad, it's abnormally bad. So that makes me think that I am basically on the cusp of having some sort of cardiac or metabolic disease. In fact, I went to the doctor the other day, last week, and I was essentially pre-diabetic. Not really bad, essentially, like just basically over the cutoff, where it was like, yeah, you're pre-diabetic, but you're like right there. But it was there. And I have been feeling that for a long time. And I think it has contributed to my general feeling of sluggishness, terrible work capacity, again, abnormally low. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm getting, like, truly winded to the point of almost being nauseous after a set of, like, 15 reps on lat pull downs. You know, like, this is just, it's shameful, really. Not just in general, as a man, but as a man who knows a lot about fitness. I have the knowledge. I know it's there. It's just that I have lacked self-control and discipline for so long that it has haunted me. And I'm reaping the seeds that I had sown. You sow seeds? Is that what it is? I'm telling you guys this to show you guys how bad it's gotten. But also because I believe that I can still come back from this. Like I said, I have the knowledge. And I'm also showing up today on camera. I'm going to put this on the internet for everybody to make fun of me for being such a fucking idiot. I am doing this because I have not given up. I will never give up trying to do this. Trying to repeat what I've done in the past, which I know can be done because I've already done it. I've been pushed further beyond to achieve the goal that I had set out for myself when I first stepped into the gym for the first time ever. I've said this to myself a million times. I will fail 1,000 times in a row before I ever even consider giving up. And we're still in attempt 20, so we're way farther from 1,000. I don't know how many people are left. I would be surprised if anybody's left. But I'm going to continue to keep trying, keep pushing, because I know what I need to do. And I am going to somehow find the strength to do it, even if it means literally changing everything about myself. And there's a lot of things that I will have to change, obviously. But if I have to become a different person in general, I'll do it. Today isn't a good example of that. Today I'm going to the gym at a relatively early time. I woke up relatively early. I was out of bed at around 9, which is early for me. And I'm shooting for even earlier than that. I'm trying to get out of bed. Eventually, I want to get out of bed at 6. That's the target. But for now, I'm trying for 8, and then eventually we'll try for 7. A work schedule may change to the point where I have to get up that early. But right now, I don't. But going to the gym early. And yes, I do want to go to the gym early purely because I want to miss the high school rush, but also because this is just something I want to establish, in general, as a habit. I've also started tracking my food again. I have been on and off tracking my food for a long time, which is kind of a theme for me, is consistency. But I am starting to track my food again. I refuse to admit defeat here, I guess. You can call it stubbornness. You can call it stupidity. You can call it cope, I guess. I don't know. But I have not stopped. And I will not stop. So, as we get ready for the gym, and my water, we got this pre-workout here. This is Brick and Mortar Nutrition Oxy Pump. This was on super discounted sale, which means obviously that it was probably super old, because it kind of came to me in clumps. It was already starting to clump before it even got here, which is not a good sign. But I got this for such an incredible discount that I'm willing to risk it, I guess you could say. This is a cotton candy flavor, although it kind of tastes more like blue raspberry than cotton candy. And the ingredient profile is kind of atrocious. Not great ingredient profile. So I usually end up double scooping it just to get a more adequate dosage for myself. Trying to get as many of these big clumps in here as possible. Where the fuck did my cap go? Why am I always missing the cap? Oh, it's right here. Idiot. The one saving grace about being injured is that I'm not hurt to the point where I can't train bench. And that has been something that I've been pushing a lot this block. Once again, I have not been training super hard. So while I probably could have PR'd in a sense, I have not. So hopefully this block is the first block where I'm really pushing the bench and get some pretty awesome PRs. my camera card's about to fill up. So I'm going to just take a sip of this. Sour. I brushed my teeth recently. And we're going to go ahead and hit the gym. And I'll show you what I've been doing. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the commentary section. Sorry, I'm very rusty. I don't even know how to start these, really. Anyway, I'm just going to start talking, see if we get anywhere. With my back being injured and me having to step away from lower body training, I have been doing evolution of the 3 times per week DUP style bench program that I did the last time I got a major injury like this, which of course was post-jet neuropalpitating program. And that one was a linear progression. This one is more of I would say it's got a bit more advanced periodization towards it. It's more of a linear periodization type, but you're still kind of linearly progressing because most of your progression is based off of AMRAPs at the end. So there's 3 days per week. On the final day of the week, you do an AMRAP, essentially. And based off how many reps you get on that, that's how you progress. And what you're seeing right now is day 2. I've got day 3 and then day 1 of the final week, which is what I did today. That is going to be at the end. It's not very long. I was very happily surprised with how bench has been going. I mean, obviously there's no lower body stuff to take away a bunch of fatigue, which is kind of my hypothesis as to why the program stopped working for me at the lower advanced tier last time, was because I was starting to reintroduce lower body training, and that's going to induce a lot more fatigue, and it's going to be a lot harder to recover from bench, and bench progress is going to stall. That's kind of what I was thinking. But hey, you know what? We're just going to, keep at this style, which is more of a slower pace. My bench max is set to 350. I'm supposed to do 90% for 2 triples, I believe. Or, sorry, 90% for 2 triples. I am tripping. 90% for 2 singles, which was 320 pounds. And they moved really well, which makes me think that I might be poised for a bench PR, ? Has been a year. Don't know if I'll take it. There's an AMRAP test at the end of this program, so perhaps I'll just do the AMRAP test. I could just straight up test my 1 rep max, try to get a little cheeky PR in there. The only thing that's set up on the 3rd day is an AMRAP, which is obviously going to determine whether or not you're going to progress next week. That's the only work set of that day. You hit an AMRAP and you go home. Or in my case, you do a bunch of accessory work to, build them muscles. So if you hit a certain weight for a certain number of reps, in this case it's going to be 8, you stay. And if you get between 9 and 10, you go up by 5. And if you get more than 11, I believe, you go up by 10. Or maybe it's between 9 and 11, I can't remember. But I only got 8 on this. And I know it kind of looks a little fast, but my technique broke down hardcore. So my right arm was coming up way slower than my left arm. So I had to just call it there because I didn't want to risk anything crazy. And on the final day, which is the day we went to today, which, by the way, was crowded. I didn't even miss the rush. I got a different kind of rush. I was so upset. Anyway, this day is supposed to be a volume day, but this is a sort of a deload and test week because it's the final week of the block. So the volume has been reduced. We only had three doubles, at 80%, which is 290, and then 3 sets of 5 at 70%, or 75%, which is 270. So that's what the bench days looked like. Wish I recorded more footage, but unfortunately I didn't. Sorry guys, again, rusty. We'll see what happens now that I'm back on cutting mode. What's going on, everybody? It's later in the evening back at home. Forgot to record a proper outro to this video, so I'm going to do that right now. There are a lot of things that I actually didn't mention earlier today, regarding mostly just stuff I've been going through and a lot of other things, and I don't know if I'll ever talk about that stuff or if I'll just end up kind of burying it in the past, because the past, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it shaped me a lot in this last, I mean, if you really think about it, it's been like, shit, man. It's so far back I can't even think exactly when it started, because there was a bunch of different things, and they all kind of started at this time, and then I was thinking about, well, even before that, and then even before that. So I'll probably just end up talking about that maybe one day at some point. But for now, we're just going to close this video out. If you're still around from the old days, thank you for watching. If you're new, what's going on, man? This has been and will be probably the hardest thing I'll ever have to do in my life, I feel like. Maybe that's too dramatic. Some people probably say, you know, wow, you really are a loser. And I am, you know, I mean, I've never denied it. Let's leave it as it is for tonight, okay? In the next coming videos, we're going to talk about some more stuff. Going to lay out the plan, you know, put pen to paper, and we'll talk about, like, what the cut's going to look like. I'm going to make an updated weight loss fix. I made one, like, 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago or something like that. And I might make a similar plan to that, but we'll see. And we'll talk about how the diet's going to be constructed, how the training is going to be constructed, how I'm going to try to progress through this event, some goals that I still have for the rest of this year. I'm tentatively optimistic in the sense that history has shown I've made a million videos like this and hasn't panned out. So maybe I should adjust my expectations and not be optimistic. But I feel like I can't go into this with a negative mindset and be like, well, I'm going to fail, because that has characterized my life, let me tell you guys. I mean, you talk about the things that have held me back the most, it's definitely afraid of failing, so why try? Didn't want to get too deep yet. We'll talk about mental health at some point, I'm sure, but for now, again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.